Okay, here's something that happens in almost every single trial. If a juror falls asleep during testimony, can I go over and wake them up? Would you like to learn the answer? Come join me as I share with you this great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law here in the state of New York. So imagine the scenario. We're at trial, we're taking testimony, I'm questioning a witness at trial, and I look over at the jury box and one of the jurors has fallen asleep. Now, that could be offensive to me. Why? Because it could mean that my questions are not very interesting. It could mean that the witness is quite boring. It could mean that their answers are quite boring. And now the witness has fallen asleep for whatever reason. Now, do I have the ability to go over and say, Mr. Juror, excuse me, you're sleeping. Could you wake up, please, and pay attention? What do you do in that scenario? Well, you have to balance a very fine line here. It's not like you can go over and knock on their door and say, Mr. Juror, you do need to pay attention, because I guarantee you that most of the other jurors will recognize that this one juror has fallen asleep. However, sometimes they can't see it, and it's just a juror in the front row. And so the jurors who are behind him can't see that this person has fallen asleep unless they're doing the head bob, where your head falls down and it pops back up again. They won't know that that particular juror has fallen asleep. But I guarantee you the judge will know it, the court officer will know it, the court reporter will know it, I will know it, and it's very, very difficult to turn around and to stop the proceedings and to try and wake the person up. I could always go over to the court officer and tell them that the juror is sleeping, and the court officer can go and try and do it. If I do it, it's kind of awkward and it's kind of weird where I try and tap them on the shoulder and say, excuse me, you were snoring, do you mind paying attention? It's really kind of weird and awkward, and there's very few good options available except for me to go over to the court officer and just whisper in his ear, hey, by the way, could you wake up juror number 1? They've fallen asleep. At times it could be hot and stifling in the courtroom, or the testimony may not be very interesting, and the juror may have had a late night, and next thing you know, they're nodding off, or maybe it's after a full meal at lunch, and now you're trying to keep the juror's attention. So you have to be very delicate and turn to the court officer and say, hey, by the way, could you do me a favor and just tap the juror on the shoulder and wake them up, or have the judge do it. Because if I do it, I look kind of bad. I look like the bad guy waking somebody up from their nap, and you really don't want to do that. So why do I share this tidbit of information with you? I share it with you because this is something that actually happens during trials pretty frequently, and attorneys are stuck trying to figure out what's the best way to deal with it. I realize you're watching this video because you probably have questions of your own matter, and if your matter happened here in the state of New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. I'd love to talk with you, and you can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. I'm going to go wake up one of the jurors right now because I don't think they were paying attention. Have a wonderful day.